everyone! Today's Crafty Friday tutorial is all about these really pretty little crochet flowers that I've been making, and I wanted to do a quick video just to show you how you can make one. We have also written this up as a blog online, so you can check that out if you want to. We'll put the links below. This tutorial was actually a request by a couple of our customers that came in, so yeah, we really hope you like it. And yeah, so I just wanted to show you all now what you're going to need to make your crochet flowers. So I'm going to replicate this one for the video in this colour, and yeah, we'll just show you now. So for the grey flower that I've just shown you, we used this, I hope you can see that, the Heritage Tweed double knitting yarn. It's a mixture of acrylic and wool. You could just use 100% acrylic, you could use a cotton, you could even use a thicker weight yarn. It will just change how your flowers look, so they may be slightly bigger than this one, they may be slightly smaller, but have a play around and see what you end up with. So for the tutorial we're using the double knitting yarn. You're also going to need a crochet hook. Now this one is a 5.5mm crochet hook. It is a plastic one. You could use the soft handled ones, it's whatever you prefer really, but I'm going to use this one just for this tutorial. You'll also need a knitter's needle or a darning needle. This is just to weave the ends in when you're finished and just give your flower a nicer finish, so you don't have sort of, you know, bits of yarn hanging from where you've started and finished. And the last thing that you'll need is a small pair of scissors, just to chop off the end bits. When you finish it, you can disconnect your flower from the rest of the ball of wool. Okay, so the first thing that you need to do is you need to find the end of your yarn, so like I've done here. You then want to make a slip stitch. So there are a number of ways to make a slip stitch, but do whichever you feel comfortable with, and then put it on your hook when you're done. So just make a slip stitch now. There we go. Okay, so you should now have one slip stitch on your hook. The next thing you want to do is you want to make a chain of 4. So you're just wrapping the yarn over the hook and pulling it through the previous stitch until you've got 4 chains. So that's 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so you should now have a chain of 4 which looks similar to what I've got here on the hook. Okay, and what you're going to do next is you're going to take your hook and you're going to pop it through the first stitch, and you're going to make a slip stitch just to join them up. So pop the hook through, yarn over, and pull that yarn through both stitches. So that's pulled it through one, and then pull it through the second one as well. Okay, so now that you've slip stitched all of your circle together, you should now have something that looks like this, which I'm hoping you can see on the camera. And you'll see that you have 1, 2, and 3 spaces. Now the main space that you're going to be working into is that centre one just there, so the smallest of the 3. And that will be where all your stitches are worked and what creates your flower. So the first thing that you're going to need to do is you're going to need to create one more chain. So just as you did in the beginning, you're going to add another chain stitch just here. Okay, and then the next stitch you're going to make, and the stitch that you'll use for the most of the flower, is called a double treble crochet stitch. So to do that, you're going to wrap the yarn around the hook twice. So you'll see you've got your chain stitch and the 2 bits that you've just wrapped around. You're then going to insert your hook into that centre space that we just showed you earlier, and you're going to pull the yarn, you're going to wrap the yarn around the hook like so, and you're going to pull that yarn back through that same hole. Okay, so now you should have 1, 2, 3 and 4 stitches on your hook like that, and your circle's just over here. You're going to wrap the yarn over the hook and you're going to pull it through 2 stitches. So you're going to pull it through those first 2 stitches there. So there you are, that's your first part of your double treble crochet stitch. You're then going to do the same thing again, so you're going to yarn over and you're going to pull it through the next 2 stitches, so like that. Okay, so that's the second part of the double treble stitch, and then again you're going to wrap the yarn over and you're going to pull it through the last 2 stitches on the hook. Okay, like that. Okay, and if you just pull it, I like to pull mine snug when I'm finished, but you don't have to, that's up to you. You can also sort of move it along a little bit so it is a bit more joined up with that first bit there. Okay, so what you're going to do is these will create the petals of your flower, so each petal will have 4 of these double treble stitches. So I'm going to go ahead and create the next 3 now because I've already got one. So again, you're wrapping the yarn over the hook twice, so you've got 1, 2 and 3 loops on the hook. You're then going through the same center circle, wrapping the yarn over and pulling it back through. Okay, and then you're going to yarn over again, pull through 2 loops on the hook, and then yarn over again and pull through the next 2 loops on the hook, and then yarn over a third time and wrap it through those last 2 loops on the hook. Just be careful because I've pulled mine a little bit tight here, so it's not going through as well as I'd want it to. So be careful not to pull your stitches too tight. So that gives me the second part of my petal. So you see you've got your first one there and that's your second one. So at the moment you should have now something that looks like this. So you've got your 5 petals and the 2 at the top where you've started and just the last one that you've finished. So what I'm going to show you now is just how to join those together so they look similar to all the other petals, and just how to get this finished off for you. So if you remember at the beginning we started with a chain of 1 just over here. So what you want to do is you want to find that chain of 1 that you've done, and you want to pop your hook through the chain. So just bear with me. So your hook's going through that first chain. Now it might have tightened a little bit because when you've been pulling your stitches tight, but you should be able to still have a bit of movement. So what you've done, once you've put that through the chain, you want to wrap the yarn over the hook and you want to pull it through. You want to also pull it through the stitch that was already on your hook, so you're just slip stitching the 2 together. And then what you want to do is you want to make a chain of 1. Okay, so you should now have your flower, which looks like this, and obviously on the back you've got your tail where you started, but that's fine, we'll sort that in a moment. So once you've made your chain of 1, you want to get your small scissors. So you're just going to leave a fair bit of a tail, and then you're just going to make a cut just there. Okay, and then you're going to pull your hook, so you're pulling the stitch all the way through. Okay, and then use the tail just to pull that into a tight little knot so it'll all stay in place. And then what you should have is your finished flower that you could use for anything really. So you'll use your knitter's needles that I showed you earlier just to weave in these ends. You could cut them, but it's generally I prefer just to weave them in so they end up being hidden by your stitches. And you want to do the same with where you've finished as well. So this tail that you left on the end, you want to do the same with that and just weave that in as well. And then when you're finished and you've weaved them in, you'll end up with something that should look like this one here. So you see you've got no tails, and you've got a really sweet finished flower. So thanks for watching. I really hope this was helpful, and it's given you some inspiration maybe. We'd love to see any that you make, so feel free to sort of post them to us on Facebook in the comments or Twitter, whatever you prefer. And yeah, we'll see you soon. Thank you.